Welcome to a very, very special video. This is something I've been producing over the course of a week, which is, well, 2 weeks, several days. And I want to share it with you guys because I showed it on Instagram. It's got a lot of feedback. And I wanted to put it on YouTube because I don't think anyone's done anything quite like this before. I mean, they've done similar things. But basically, a lot of people, and it's becoming a trend, have been building Five Nights at Freddy's figures out of clay and all, right? They're good and all, but there's only one thing. They're not like, I mean, they're a bit like this guy, Rick Grimes here. We're just using him as an example, because he's the closest thing. But they don't have joints in them where they can pose and all that. They're just a standard statue like that. Which is cool and all, but it's a shame. But it'd be cool if they could pose and be McFarlane style, where you could actually pose them. As you can see here, I've got them with a keychain of a G36 by Heckler & Koch. I posed them with it like that. Still, you know, you can't pose them, they're just stuck there like figurines. And they're really cool and all, but again, you just can't pose them, which is the same, which is an awful shame. And certain Springtraps have been missing major details that I've seen. Some Springtraps, the legs on them aren't, like, they don't show the endoskeleton. They don't look as gory as they should do. So I decided to build my own Springtrap. Yeah, this guy took me 2 weeks. I just finished him today, actually, painting him all. As you can probably see on the camera, it turns out better, but he has brass colour paint just splodged all over him, like around his face and all that. That's to kind of give him a warm, weathered look. And I did all this sculpting with a Stanley knife, and all these wires, these crimson bits, they're from bits of old headphones that bust like months ago, so I kept them. And because this guy was in planning stage for several months, and I'll show his Posability off in a minute. But I then decided to use those wires on him, and I used super glue, a wooden mannequin, some Lego joints. I actually had 2 spare Halo Mega Bloks figures, which the heads had snapped off. So I used, and some of the joints had cracked. So basically, what I did is I got the joints and I stuck them in there. And because this is a wooden mannequin, he has articulation. But before we do get to that, let's just look at this sculpt, because this sculpt is very nice. You can see he's got the brass paint there, all splodged on to give it that warm look. I did all this with a Stanley knife, actually. As you can see, he's got the teeth, his mouth is slightly open there, where it's closed there. And as you can see, there's a reason why it's like a dark crimson under there. I'll show you that later. But as you can see, he's all worn, his ear's missing. And then we come to the body, he's got some guts in there, some more body parts showing. He's got endoskeleton shoulders showing here, all silver bits endoskeleton. And his hands, and they're all brass, he's got more brass paint showing more endoskeleton. And the legs are all worn. I actually started sculpting this guy from the legs upward. So it was the legs, then the waist, and then the arms, and then the head. And as you can see, the legs then, he's got bits of the remains of Purple Guy, and the feet have just recently been painted to give him those lines that he had. As you can see, on the wires, all the bits of Purple Guy, because he breathed on the mechanism by laughing. Yes, he breathed on the spring mechanisms. And this guy has a feature as well. Because I couldn't get the head to move, open its mouth, you can pull it off and reveal Purple Guy's head, and it's just painted, you know, as you can see, but, you know, because there's a lot of finger marks and all that, it kind of gives it some texture. And as you can see, he's got the same eyes as Springtrap, because Springtrap's eyes were sunken into his head. And, yeah, it started scripting off a bit, oh dear. And I painted it black and then put crimson on to kind of give it that mummified look that he had, you know, it was like that in screenshots. And yeah, this guy took all weeks. I had to modify the endoskeleton, which took several. Not endoskeleton, sorry, the wooden mannequin, which took several days. But and as you can see, the helmet here has a gap, and it's got a bit of blue tack just to help it stick, and it fits on very tight like that. So, and now for the big moment, all you guys have been waiting for. You see, this is the most unique because he isn't just stuck like this. He's not going to look like this on the shelf, believe it or not. I mean, he might do, but he can look differently because he moves about. His head can go up, down, can really nice range of motion on the head, can rotate as well, rock side to side, so you get a lot of great range of motion in the head. The arms can go in and out really high, can rotate full 360. If any of you don't know about the wooden mannequins, their body parts are all attached by springs, so that's how this guy, that's why he clicks. It's funny, springs, and he's Springtrap. God, some of the glossy crimson's coming off of my fingers now. Ugh. He bends at the elbow, he rotates, but his elbow just springs back, which sucks, but it is still cool. His hand can rotate 360, and can go like this, which is pretty neat. The waist can rotate at 360 as well. Can crunch out the abs, bend his back backward, rock his body side to side. So you get it. And his legs go outward slightly, as you can see. So I modified it so it does that. And they do go backward, but not by very much, so you can get him running. And they bend at the knee, and they bend like they turn at the knee as well, but then they'll more or less try and force themselves back into place. But it's not as bad as it is with the arms, so you could get him like that. And the feet rotate as well, and they go forward and back. So yeah, this guy, he's pretty damn special to me, and you can pose him in a variety of different ways. I mean, like right now, it looks like he's about to maraud somebody. Like, just seriously give him a good marauding. It means the basically attacking them. If I was to put him there or something, and it takes a bit of fiddling to get him to stand, and then to put Rick Grimes there who chops his gun, you can imagine a pretty cool fight going on with these two. Yeah. Springtrap would just clobber him one because Springtrap's like, but yeah, this guy is meant to be posed. He's built for it. And again, all the detailing. It's just his hands at it. This hand was the first part sculpted because I was testing the clay. It's all air hardening clay. I'll just go get the stuff that I use for him. Actually, give me a sec. I used Humbrol paints, but I don't have those at the moment because I painted them at college. This is the clay that I used. Das colour. It's really good actually. This is the gold one. I've also got silver, which is what I'm using to sculpt mangle. A really strong super glue called Loctite. This is a really good super glue here in the UK. It's brilliant stuff. This is what I use for sculpting, which is what I did all those little gashes and all that with. I did it with this, so like and then do it for the mouth. And to modify the wires and all that, I did this. Basically what I did is, because these are all attached on by springs, you have to cut around here and pull the wire around, kind of hook it on the end, and then glue it into place. And you won't be able to see it because there's clay around it, but then that means that it's nice and tight when you turn it, as you can see. And you have to do that a lot. You know, you have to do it an awful lot, like 8 times. Here, 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 and here, and here, and it's a pain. It is a royal pain, but the result is so worth it in the end. Because he poses. Yes, I like to read about guns in case anyone noticed. I like to read about weaponry and all that, but that's not the point. The point is, this guy's the only Springtrap that can post. In fact, I'll just go get you 2 other figures that I am making as well. I think you'll like these ones. This one I've only just started sculpting. This is Mangle. As you can see, just sculpted the head and the teeth. It's got an eye missing. That's one eye that's sticking out. It'll all look better when it's painted. As you can see, the body is that of a wooden mannequin. And you can see there the little white piece of wire sticking out. I cut a little tooth by like a triangle shape and then pull the wire and hook it onto there and then glue it in. And then glue this Lego joint on after modifying the leg mostly. Springtrap's legs are actually shortened deliberately, like those are. But one of those legs is actually longer than the other, which is funny. It's got a hand there. And the other one is from a film called The Chronicles of Riddick Pitch Black. Now this one was, because I bought 2 mannequins when I made Springtrap, and one was just spare parts mainly, but I thought sculpt into this. As you can see, this creature has wings. This was also the first test into the clay, and I brushed some water on it, used a brush to kind of get without all the seams on it. And this piece actually broke off and I just glued it on. That's not an eye. These creatures don't actually have eyes. I need to sculpt the hands and, as you can see, the tail. This is how the arms and legs were originally, where you couldn't really get an elbow very well. They would just constantly stay like that, and posing just wasn't their way. So that's why I modified Springtrap to have hinges, and the same with Mangle, and the same with this. But I left the tail as it is because I kind of like the tail like this. This looks cool. So yeah, that's why this is built weirdly. And yeah, I'm also going to be building, once I've built Mangle, I'm going to be, and this guy, the Bioraptor from Chronicles of Riddick Pitch Black, I'm going to be then building Withered Bonnie. As I've seen someone on YouTube called ARTICULATION who does absolutely amazing little statues, by the way. You should check her statues out. She has done flipping Springtrap, Mangle, the Withered Bonnie, the toy versions of Chica, Bonnie and Freddy, the original Freddy, Chica and Bonnie, and yeah, the puppet as well, and they look really, really damn cool. Like, they are amazing little figurines. And it was, funny thing is, I was actually watching her tutorial when I was doing Mangle, because I was not confident or comfortable sculpting the Mangle's head. And the funny thing is, actually, the Mangle's head's pretty heavy, actually. But this little guy was not so bad. He was pretty cool. Yeah, but he's, as you can see, the metallic colours, gold, silver. Although the thing is, when the gold dries out, it loses its, it kind of fades. But I don't mind. If anything, it looks better like that. It looks all worn. But yeah, if it weren't for her, I would not have been inspired to do these. So it's really thanks to her and someone else called Chris Thin Crafts, who's done most of them, including Withered Chica, and he's doing the Phantom ones as well. You should both check these guys out. Their channel links will be in the description, because they are both really damn good with what they do. Really, really cool and all that. And ArtICULATION does really great tutorials. I mean, I watch them, actually. I don't like necessarily follow them, except for Mangle, of course. But they are just really entertaining to watch, because I like to know how things are made. So, with Springtrap, I watched that one. And, you know, the legs aren't necessarily, like, the legs are a bit different, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter one little bit. Because we can pretend it's another version, like a time before Springtrap became the way he was, where his legs were rotten. Because that version doesn't look as rotten as mine, which is good, you know, because we can pretend it's like 15 years just been left alone. But yeah. We can pretend it's like we can pretend it's the version that Purple Guy used. So it's what it looked like when Purple Guy used it, and it killed him. Whereas mine is the after effect, like the version that we see in the game. But all the Springtraps are really damn cool, actually. It was Chris Thin Crafts that actually got me to do the head, because I just copied the basic shape and then did the rest myself. The colours I used Humbrol-wise are crimson, black, these are all glosses, the copper, well, the brass colour, which is actually metallic but feels like a gloss, and white, and also silver. Silver is like a greyish silver, but it looks really cool on these guys. And Mangle is going to be white, look, pink, red, black, yellow, and silver again for the body. Mangle's not actually finished, because I've got to sculpt the hands and the legs. Well, sorry, the feet and the hands, and you know, then just paint, then wait for them to dry and paint all. You see, these things dry overnight. The clay does not dry really quickly. But some essences with that super glue over there is when I was popping these on. Because when I sculpted the head, I'll just tell you how I did it. I got a big lump of clay. I pressed it into his head, and that's what the inside is. You won't see it, but it's what the head clips into. And then like on the final day of sculpting, I put an extra layer of clay around it, which is the outside of the back of his head. So it's this area here, it's the outside, and sculpted the outside around that. So the outside of his head, like all the facial details, there's really an extra layer with clay. And his eyes were actually painted on the original inner layer of clay, and I glued the wires to the inner layer, which is what clips into his head, and then, you know, when these came on, I glued them on. And I thought of painting crimson, and at first I didn't like when I painted the copper on, but now, you know, I got used to it pretty quickly, and then when I did, I just thought, wow, he looks pretty battered. But yeah, this is going to be in a new segment of my Creature Effects workshop section, because this is how they do characters in movies, you know, they sculpt, like, models out of pink clay and all that, and it's how Necker and McFarlane make their figures, because I've seen them, and they did an interview where they sculpt the basic prototypes out of pink clay. So, and that's how they do it, you know, the film like Alien and The Thing and Terminator and Predator, they'll do basic model, all the creatures in films, especially Star Wars is a big one, they will sculpt all the aliens, all the monsters and all that, they'll sculpt them all out of clay, and this was way before CGI, they sculpt them all out of clay. And it's like Wallace and Gromit, it's an old cartoon in the UK, which is stop motion, it was all clay animation and all that, pretty cool actually. But that's what it is, the Creature Effects workshop was all modelling out of clay. And someone actually built a massive spider out of blue tack, every detail right to the hair. And we all know what blue tack is, it's that blue stuff that sticks everything on the walls. But yeah, that's it. I'll just move these guys out of the way so we can focus a bit more on Springtrap. Metal teeth that I use out of pins. Pretty cool actually, I like the way this one turned out. I was a bit scared actually because, you know, Springtrap I was more confident with because he's pretty easy to do, but it was just the others getting the likeness to look right. But yeah, what can I say? This is probably one of the most unique things I have ever built. It's different because when I was presenting my Angry Birds Transformers at my college as part of an art presentation, because that's really what they were, an art project, I actually said at the end that this is the guy that was going to be built next, and I used a screenshot from the game, and, well, here he is now. I mean, he just looks really damn cool. I love the pose, especially just looking at him like that, provided he didn't want to fall over. Just like most action figures, he will fall over in certain poses. But looking at him like that from the side, I mean, I've still got the original picture from, like, when he was semi-painted yesterday on Instagram. He looks really damn cool, and he just looks absolutely amazing. In here as well, I actually do think he looks really good in this pose. I think this is a good pose for him. When I get Withered Bonnie, I'm going to have it with it, when I make Withered Bonnie, I'm going to have it with its arms sticking out like a zombie, like, ugh, and have it posed like dragging one leg like a zombie. Because I do want to make all of these guys. They just look really damn cool. And these things are about, and these stands come with it. I'm actually going to have a special one. Just give me a sec to grab it. I rarely use it though. This one with a head glued on, and it's sanded down, so that when I can display him with just, you know, as purple guy with the head on the stand. And this stand actually has a spot. It goes into his ass. But you don't really need it that much. But again, I might just do it for display and then modify the stand. And once I've done with the Bonnie, I'm also going to do the puppet, and as in the marionette or puppet, whatever you want to call it. Same character really. We'll just call it the marionette, the puppet. Yeah, once I've done that, I'm going to do Slenderman. Because I do like the creepypastas, and Slenderman is pretty cool. He'll be easy. Just modify the hinge joints so that he can pose, and then just give him long fingers and then paint him up. I'm going to do lots of horror effect characters, and Slenderman's definitely an iconic character. I also have a giant mannequin as well, a giant one that my mother got me. And as you can see, this one's already got elbow joints, so I might sculpt this into a Tyrant from Resident Evil, or the monster from Cloverfield, because I've got some of the NECA figures, and this would be great in scale as a Tyrant. But this guy, I wanted to... Sorry about that, the camera had cut off all of a sudden, don't know why. If you wonder what the noise is, I was just playing Black Ops 2. Brilliant game. Yes, so this has been the Archangel with my custom Springtrap figure. Please rate, comment, subscribe, not fall over, and tell me which your favourite character is, and which one you potentially want me to want to see me build. Which one you want me to build, and I will build it. Catch you guys in the next video.